So we will first discuss the colors. First is compost blue, Winsor blue, then is my Prussian blue, olive green, raw sienna, and the last one is my burnt sienna. These will be the colors which I would be using for completing this painting. I'm going ahead and starting with one of my horizon line. I am placing my horizon line about mm, one third of the paper you can see from the top, and then I would go ahead and just make the shoreline that is closer towards the right hand side. I would start working quickly with my cloud area, going ahead and using my size 8 brush from Escoda, and I'm just adding some amount of water towards the cloud area. You can also go ahead and use a wash brush like this, which is 3 by 4 inch, to add the clouds. Once you are done, after adding the clouds, we would go ahead and start painting the water. But the first important aspect is to paint the cloud area. We would be going absolutely random with this painting. There is no particular way I would be adding the cloud. It is some spaces that I would be leaving in white and some place where I would be adding the blue. I would be ordering the value of the blue, wash the brush and just add some amount of blue. While you go towards the bottom, the values will become more lighter. You can also go ahead and change your brush if you are not comfortable using a size 8 brush, because you might get thicker or broader strokes which you do not want. Hence you can go ahead use size 6, size 4 brush, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Go ahead with that. That would really help you to boost up your confidence. As a beginner, I always say this: whatever works best for you, go with that. There is no hard and fast rule of using this particular brush, and all the brushes that I'm using is as per what I have in terms of the size of the painting that I am doing for this particular class. If the size of the painting changes, the brush size might also change to an extent. Go ahead and remove some of the colors and leave some of the parts as white. If you see, I just take my damp brush and keep taking off the extra colors from the paper. Once this part is done, I would go ahead and start painting the water with the compost blue. Compost blue is one of my favorite colors to paint the water, and that's one of the very good or great ways that you can start painting your water. If you do not have this kind of a blue, you can go ahead and make it. Take some amount of your turquoise and just add a bit of white in it. Try to have a transparent white while you add, or else if you do not have, go ahead and use a titanium white. I'm going ahead with my raw umber and I've started adding the shoreline. This part of the sand area that I'm painting right now is absolutely random. You can go ahead with any color that is available with you. There is no particular reason of using this raw sienna. You can also go ahead with yellow ochre, add a bit of brown in it, and get a color which is similar. That is also absolutely fine with me. I'm going with my Windsor blue and adding it towards the top area, then just cleaning it, as I do not want my sky and the water to look same. Hence, just do that small part. It would really help you to work out this in a better way. Going with a darker value now compared to what I did had earlier, and then just blending it with my compost blue. Now, this is a particular process of blending which you might take some good amount of time to understand, because this is one of the ways in which you can have a perfect painting. If you can blend well, there are a lot of places where you would find it really easy to work on watercolor paintings. That's one of the reasons I have always included a lot of lessons about blending and how you should work around with watercolors in a much more smoother and in a wet on wet kind of a way. But most of these paintings that we would be doing are wet on dry also. Like right now, while we are painting the water, it's wet on dry and we are just blending the two colors. Wet on dry means you are taking some wet paints and applying on a dry paper. That's how it is wet on dry. It is a very, very simple and easy process to follow. Go ahead and start adding some amount of your burnt sienna now onto the shore area from the right, that is majorly the sand that you want, and adding one dark value of our Windsor blue on top of the water area, and then blending it with our compost blue. Though I have tried it before, but it just seemed that the color faded away a bit. So I'm adding it once more. Just cleaning the top area where I would be painting my island. I am starting it with some amount of my yellow. You can also go ahead and add some yellow in this, or else you can also go ahead with some of your raw sienna. That's also perfectly fine. Go ahead and add some amount of your olive green into the color that is already prevailing on top of the paper. Majorly the yellow or any kind of orange, anything that you want will go well with this. And now I am going ahead and adding some more amount of my raw sienna. Once I have added the raw sienna, you will see that the blending happens very well, and the island which you want to paint comes out really nice. It's easy and simple. Just a few drops of your olive green we would be adding in few of the places so that it becomes dark, just the way I'm adding right now. And you can see how easy one or two touches of the brush can change a whole lot in a painting. Keep adding these colors as you proceed further. There is no best way of adding colors. It is going to be a very, very simple way in which you keep on adding your paints to the paper. Some of the places will still remain in the color that is most of the time raw sienna or any other yellow that you have used. In few of the places where I feel that I have more of green, I would remove it with the help of my brush. Once I have taken off any extra paints, I would let this part dry off. Then start adding your foam, or you can say the ocean foam, which happens because of the gushing and the roaring waves. I am using my white gouache to add this part. You can also go ahead and use your white gouache to add these areas, or else you can go with your opaque white watercolor, that is your titanium white, to add these. I have also used my titanium white in many of the places for completing this part of the painting. Titanium white is again opaque compared to the Chinese white, which is transparent. Though for watercolors, I always say that transparency goes very, very important, but still, there are times where we need to paint ocean and waves and water, where I do prefer adding the white, because sometimes it is very, very difficult to preserve the white on the paper. Hence, this comes as a great rescue. I'm using my fingers to just blend it a bit, as I feel it has become more hard edge. Hence, just blending helps me to make it more softer in look compared to what I usually get. Once this is done, we would start adding some amount of our darker values. Now, what does darker value mean? I would go ahead and mix some amount of my blue with the brown that I already have, and then add some of the shadows of these ocean foam, or you can say these waves. That would really help to give a realistic look to the wave. Just by adding a bit of my color onto the paper with the help of my brush, I'm using only the edge of my brush to add these shadows. It's going to be absolutely random. Now, since we are seeing the whole of this a bit from a distance, because the island is pretty much at the distance, only the shoreline, or you can say the roaring and the gushing waves which is meeting my sand, can be seen well. Hence, we do need a bit of shadows to be added to these waves. Let's go ahead and splatter some amount of this brown onto the sand area. Once you add this dark brown onto the sand area, you will feel that you get a very nice outcome with the splatters. But yes, these kind of disasters are also possible. So keep a tissue handy with yourself by which you can take off any extra pigments which did become a problem for you once you add it on top of the paper. Tissue is really helpful at any point in time. I have seen it absolutely throughout my entire watercolor journey. Go ahead and keep adding some more 1 or 2 drops here and there, and just adding a bit of darker values into the bottom area of this small island that we see at a distance. Again, I'm trying to blend it with my fingers. Once it is done, let your paper dry off and then remove the tape at an angle. I hope you would be really happy after seeing both of these paintings because they just are the heart of this class, I would say. There's such contrasting colors and so much of beauty is being added with both of these paintings. I would meet you in the next lesson where we would be again doing another beautiful but a bit more complex painting. So just have a final look at your painting and then meet you in the next lesson.